Today we are recapping everything that I crocheted in the month of May. Hey, it's Tammy, Crafty Mompreneur. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. It is, what day is it even? I guess it's like June 3rd. Where did the month go? It literally flew by. Today we are recapping everything that I crocheted in the month of May. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently this month because during the month of May, I did do a crochet from A to Z challenge where I challenged myself to crochet something from every letter of the alphabet. This is actually a challenge that I did last year just on my own, and I don't know, I think summertime for me is kind of a time when I get in a little bit of a rut with crocheting because I don't do summer markets here. And so I just kind of get into this like, what should I crochet rut, you know? And so doing something like a crochet from A to Z challenge does a couple things. It forces me to like get out of my comfort zone and make things that maybe I would have never made before, which is definitely the case for this challenge. And it also just gives me something to like, you know, follow. A lot of times, I don't know if you're like this, but a lot of times for me, like I know that I want to get things crocheted because I'm trying to build up inventory for fall markets. I know I need to crochet every day to like do that, but at the same time, you know, sometimes I just don't know what to crochet. So I do love this crochet from A to Z challenge. And so everything that I crocheted in the month of May, I'm categorizing within the alphabet. So how this video is going to work, I'm just going to start with the letter A and show you whatever I made that started with the letter A and work all the way to the letter Z. Now I will say that most everything I crocheted this month was for my crochet from A to Z challenge. There were a few things that I crocheted that were for either videos or custom orders, and I'm just attaching those to whatever letter they are. So for example, I made some market bags. I'm actually just going to show those at the letter M. They weren't for orders or anything. One of them I made for myself, I made one for my daughter, and then I made a third one. So yeah, we're just going to include those in the letter M. And then I think I had a custom order for a pigeon, so you'll see that under the letter P. I didn't film a ton of content to go with this video, I don't think. But if there is content related to a plushie, I will definitely be sharing that as I'm talking about it. So that is how this video is going to work. So let's just jump right into the letter A. I started a new thing this month, and I decided that I wanted to keep all the plushies that I crochet in a bin. So I found this in the garage and I cleaned it all up. And so this is everything I crocheted in the month of May. So letter A is an alpaca. This is from Poggy's Place, and I was actually selected to be a pattern tester for her Some Like It Hot patterns that she released. And so this is my little alpaca. This was like really early on in the month, so I'm trying to remember like how I made it. But I believe it's either worked from this way to this way or this way to this way. I don't really remember. And then you make the head separately and then sew it on. So this one does involve a little bit of sewing. I added little eyelashes. So you're gonna see quite a few Poggy's Place things here on this A to Z challenge because they're small and they're pretty quick to make. And I didn't make a ton of plushies this month, but at least I got all 26 made. And I did try some new patterns. So there are also new patterns here. So this was new to me, new pattern test for an alpaca. So for the letter B, I made a butterfly. This particular pattern is all from Jade's Fidget collection. And I will say that when this pattern was released, I had bought this yarn and this yarn to go with it, and I just never made it. So I decided that it was, as I was going through some yarn, I was gonna go ahead and make this plushie. It is Sweet Snuggles Light. But as I was making it, I realized I wasn't gonna have enough of this, and you can't really get this anymore. like the Sweet Snuggles is not the same anymore. So I ended up having to use this darker green, but I actually like the way it turned out. So this is the All From Jade Fidget Butterfly. The next letter is the letter C, and both of these are things that you've already seen in previous videos, but I'm gonna go ahead and share them here because I did crochet them in the month of May. The first is this cow, and this is the video here where I take you through crocheting this little guy. This is a free tutorial here on YouTube. And then the other thing that I made were these two cacti. These were also part of the pattern test for Poggy's Place, and these showed up in my Crochet Everything Green video. Moving on to the letter D, I do have this Studio Phoebe 22 Dino, and also in the Crochet Everything Green video, free pattern, I used the Ribbler version, and for this particular dino, she normally has you crochet this piece separately and then sew it on. I just like to do a surface crochet on it, and I do use Bernette blanket yarn for these, and they turn out super cute, and they are a decent size, and I charge $20 for these when I have them at my market. Moving on to the letter E, we have a Poggy's Place elephant, and I actually did some little face shaping for the elephant. So here is just a cute little elephant. Again, Poggy's Place. Okay, on to the letter F, we have this little strawberry frog. Well, I guess it's a frog with a strawberry hat. And this is by Loretta Loops, and this is actually a plushie that my daughter had me make for one of her friends. This one does involve quite a bit of sewing. You have to sew on all the arms, the legs, the hat, the eyes, but it is pretty cute. I don't know if I would actually make this again, just because it has so much sewing, and it's likely, you know, a $40 plushie. Like, it's pretty big, it's a pretty good size. But yeah, F for frog. G was actually the last letter that I made. I did not go in order when I did my Crochet from A to Z challenge, and I feel like the next time I do the challenge, I'm gonna go back to doing it in order because I just felt like I was all over the place with the alphabet, but it is what it is, and I still got all the letters crocheted. But in any case, this little Groot was the very last plushie that I crocheted for my challenge. This pattern is part of the Pocket Movie Friends from Mademoiselle J Crochet. It is a pattern on Etsy, and I use Bernette blanket yarn, and like it's a good size, maybe like 7 inches tall. I mean, if you put it next to my head, it's a cute size, and I think I've sold these before, and I think I charge $18 for them. But yeah, this is a cute little Groot for the letter G. Okay, so for the letter H, I decided to do a pattern that I have never crocheted before. So this is a new pattern that you haven't seen before. And it is BK Crochet's little horse pattern. I think it's Peyton. It's Peyton the pony, but it's a horse. So we're using it for the letter H, okay? And it's cute, but I will say that it kind of, in the pattern, she talks about how this doesn't seem to be lined up, but I could not get it to go straight. Like, she said that when you, that it would, but for me, like, I still feel like it is not straight. It still feels like it's at kind of an angle. And so that is kind of the only thing that throws me off about this pattern. But it is a snuggler, so it's a stuffed, unstuffed body. I do like how the little tail she has you make it into a little bow. And you know, the mane is cute. And then I embroidered the eyes. And so it is super cute. But I don't know. I don't know if I would make another one because this is just throwing me off. Maybe I'll try one in like a solid color maybe. But if you've made this pattern before, let me know if if you had that same issue, because it could have been me. Like, it could have totally been me and my like tension or something, but I think that's the only thing that I'm just like, it just doesn't look right to me. But other than that, like, I love how the hooves are. They're like perfect. But just, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it, see, I don't know. Other than that, like, it's super cute. I might look for another snuggler horse pattern because it's just not straight. I don't know about you, but for me, my favorite kind of dessert is ice cream. So of course I had to do an ice cream for the letter I, and I decided to do a little ice cream cone on a keychain. This is the Mouse Crochet ice cream. And then I also did a ice cream turtle all from Jade. So ice cream turtle, ice cream cone for the letter I. Okay, the letter J, I decided to do another Poggy's Place plushie and went with a little jaguar. So this one, I believe, is also in the Some Like It Hot, I think. Maybe it's not, but it's got the little spots and it's just like this little baby jaguar. It's so cute. So J for jaguar. K is for koala. And this is one that I've made before from Poggy's Place. And I like how it has the little tufts in the ears. This is just like fur yarn. I just adore all of these little Poggy's Place critters. My goal is to try and get a whole bunch of them made for my markets in the fall. So at some point during the summer, we'll just gather them all up and kind of see where we're at and what we need to make and that kind of stuff. So we're gonna add a koala to the mix. I actually have two different ones for L, and if you watch all my videos, you have seen both of these before, but I'm still gonna show them because it's something that I made in the month of May. And the first is this little lime slice, which was in my Crochet Everything Green video. And then most recently, I showed this little lab that I crocheted to look like my yellow lab Holly. This is Crochet Grove's puppy pattern, but I did the ears myself. I didn't follow the pattern for the ears. This was from the video of me showing how I assemble a plushie. I love these little paws, how she has you do the little color changes for the paws. The tail is super cute, how it's like got the look of a retriever. Super cute pattern. Does involve quite a bit of sewing. So if you don't like sewing, then this might not be the pattern for you, but it is pretty cute. Okay, we are now on the letter M, and we have a little cute little mouse from Poggy's Place. I've made this before, you've seen it. I have a video actually of me showing all the how I do the detailing in my tips playlist. I love this little mouse. Every time I make it, I sell one, I sell it. So I wanted to have another one for my collection. M is also for market bags. And I think you guys saw this partial one being made what I made in April, I think. So I actually finished this market bag. This is the Stephanie Z, I think. Yeah, Stephanie Z tutorial here on YouTube. So this is my market bag that is finished. It wasn't as bad. Like, I really kind of like it. This is actually the big version where you crochet 30 across this way. And then she also has a version where you crochet 20 across. And I kind of wanted to see the difference between the two sizes to see which one I liked better. So I did also do the smaller market bag. All right, so this one is the color Earth Ombre, and I think just brown. I made the handles the same width as the other one, and so I wasn't quite sure which one I liked better, but the deciding factor for me was, while this one's cute, I feel like for a market bag, it needs to be bigger. Like this one is okay, but I feel like the bigger size is better for like to use as like a market bag, or maybe like a pool bag or something like that. Because you can get quite a lot of stuff in these bags. So this is all I had left from when I made this one. And so I used 2 of these and then one of the bigger sizes of this. I think it's the super size. Yeah, the Lily Sugar and Cream super size. So that's how much I have left. So this kind of just goes into I'm going to keep all of these for like a scrappy project or something. And when I did my big yarn haul, I was buying 2 of these and 1 of these for each market bag. And so I don't want to be left with just like one, because this didn't quite take 2. This is almost half the size. So yeah, I have almost a full one of these left, which what am I going to do with? And so for that reason, I'm going to make my market bags the bigger size. When my oldest daughter saw this, she goes to the pool a lot. And so she requested a market bag for herself. So I also made her one. I know, I made 3 market bags in a month. Like, that's crazy, right? But here is the colors she picked. She picked the faded denim. This is faded denim in Lily Sugar and Cream. And then I think ecru. Anyways, so this is my daughter's market bag that I made for her. And I've already started on another one. They are kind of addicting to make. And when I first was making my very first one, I felt like it was kind of hurting my wrist a little bit. But I think I figured out how to like hold the yarn and to do it so it doesn't, like, because I was able to make this one and I started another one without it hurting my wrist at all. So I'm definitely down for like using all of that yarn that I had bought at the Joann's, like, going out of business sale. I bought a whole bunch of the Lily Sugar and Cream. So yeah, I'm down to making market bags, and I'm just gonna make the big ones. So M market bags and a mouse. Now for N, I kind of didn't really know what to make. I didn't want to make a narwhal, and I decided to just make a chicken nugget. So N is for nugget. I used Sweet Snuggles Light in the color mustard, I think, and I freehanded it. I don't think I used a pattern at all for this one that I remember. But yeah, so N is for nugget. Cute little nugget. I only made 1. I may make more if I decide to, but I don't know. All right, we are on the letter O, and for O, we have my all-in-one octo. This was also from my Crochet Everything Green video, but I just did not get around to doing anything else that started with O. So this is what you get. This is a free tutorial here on my YouTube, and for those of you that are not familiar with this pattern, I designed this pattern as a way that you could crochet the entire piece without having to like reattach your yarn or do anything like that. So it is super beginner friendly. You make the whole thing, and then you can put your eyes on, and then you stuff it and close it up. There's no like reattaching the yarn to make the tentacles or anything like that. And that's why I call it my all-in-one octo, because it's all one piece. You make it all in one swoop. And okay, for the letter P, I'll show you peas in the pod, but this was also in my Crochet Everything Green video. I did use a pattern for the idea, and I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Crazy Daisy Crochet on Ribbler is a pea in the pod free pattern, and I started with that just to get the general idea of how to make a pod. But then I totally went like rogue and I didn't follow her pattern at all because I wanted these little end pieces. And so this is my version of the one that's on Ribbler. But I also had a custom order for a pigeon, and I don't have the actual pigeon with me because it's already gone to its owner. This was a pattern by Yoon Crochets PL on Etsy. And for this pattern, I actually made every single piece of the pattern. It came with like a raincoat, a chef's hat, and a chef's apron, and then a little like messenger bag and hat. And I made all the accessories for it, and it was just a super fun project to make. And it was for my daughter's roommate as a birthday gift. So P for pigeon. Now if my light looks a little different, I had to change lights, so bear with me. Hopefully this light won't go out, but we're on the letter Q. Q is kind of a tough one, but I decided, because this little bird is one that we have a lot here in Arizona, and it's a little quail. And I did not find a pattern for this. I actually used a free pattern for a bird on cuteville_toys on Instagram. And I just pulled up a picture of a quail. I tried to find colors of yarn in my stash and then just tried to make it look like a quail. And this is my version, but Q is for quail. For the letter R, I went again with Poggy's Place, and I've made this pattern before and it always turns out cute, and it is a red panda. This little guy is adorable. The little ears are, everything is crocheted on, it's a no-sew, but you do the like brown and then you add the white, but it's really super cute. For the letter S, I chose to do a sloth, and I'm kind of torn on whether or not I like this sloth because I think it looks kind of weird, honestly, because I could not get the eyes to look right. So I ended up doing felt, but here's my sloth. This is a Poggy's Place sloth. I feel like it's bigger than it should be. And again, like I used felt instead of trying to crochet the eyes in. And so while one of my daughters thinks it's cute, the other one's like, that's creepy. I don't know. What do you think? Creepy or cute? It's done. It's an S, and that's what I got for the letter S. For the letter T, I went with the succulent turtle that I made for my Crochet Everything Green challenge. Because I had already made another turtle, an ice cream turtle, so that's just how it worked out. And we're gonna use this one for the letter T, for succulent turtle, because it is a turtle. This is my last Poggy's Place, but it is U, and I crocheted a UFO. I can't remember what collection it's from, but this is a Poggy's Place UFO. She also has like an astronaut and something alien maybe. I don't remember all of them, but UFO, U is for UFO. Now I am going to give credit to you guys for the letter V because I had no idea what a velociraptor was. I had to search it up because I did not know it was a dinosaur. I did some searching and then I found a pattern for a velociraptor by Teresa's Crochet Shop. And then I also decided that I was going to use like a plush yarn that I had in my stash, and also you get a sneak peek on the start of my Crochet Everything Pink challenge because I did a pink dinosaur, a pink velociraptor dinosaur, and here's the pattern that I used, and here's my velociraptor. He's very big. He has a very big head. And I will tell you that I only had one skein of this yarn, and I ended up making all of the parts of it first and then made the head, because I started with the head and I was like, I am not gonna have enough yarn, because I cut out maybe like 4 rows from the head, and because it was already so big. And so this was quite a project to try and get this done with one skein of the Michael's Speckles yarn, or whatever that yarn was. But yeah, he's not a vicious looking Velociraptor. He's kind of a cute little pink and blue speckled Velociraptor, but I did it. The pattern was called a Velociraptor, and that's what it is. So that's it. It's a very big plushie, but it does actually stand. It almost looks like it would be top heavy and do that, but it doesn't. Like, it actually stands. So letter V is for Velociraptor. For the letter W, I decided to go with a whale, and I've made this pattern before, but not in a keychain. But I decided to make little All From Jade's keychain version of a little plushy whale. So it is super cute, tiny, small. Y and Z. Okay, X, Y, and Z. Now, those are usually the hardest letters to do in this challenge, I will say that. Aside from Z. Z is usually like zebra. But I wanted to challenge myself to do something different. So hang with me until we get to Z. But for X, like last time I did this challenge, I did like an Xmas tree. But this time, I went with an Xbox controller. I found a pattern by Pixelated Plushies on Etsy, and this is not exactly how the pattern is. I modified it a little bit so that it had a more like defined top part, and I ended up my husband had an old Xbox controller, and I kind of just modeled it after that, and you know, just used the same colors that were on that, and I think it turned out pretty cute. Right? So X is for Xbox controller. We're on the letter Y, and I decided to go with a little Yoda. This is from Crochet with Bay. I love this little pattern. It works up pretty quick. You just have to sew on the ears. I actually do make my ears a little bit differently. I don't follow her pattern for it. But yeah, this one is a super cute little Yoda for Y. Okay, we are on the letter Z, and I will say I didn't want to, like I said a minute ago, I didn't want to do a zebra because that's easy, right? I mean, I made a zebra for my last A to Z challenge last year, and I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself to do something different. I think somebody might have commented to do a zombie, and then I decided, well, my daughter is a huge Minecraft fan. I looked on Etsy and I couldn't really find a pattern. And so I ended up just kind of looking at pictures and decided to freehand a zombie. And here is my little Minecraft zombie. I just so happened to have the right colors in my yarn stash. It took me a few tries to get it right. I tried to do like the little flat feet and the flat top of the head, and then like the flat tops of the arms. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty cute. My daughter knew instantly what it was, so I think it was a success. So Minecraft, so Z is for Minecraft zombie. So that is the wrap up of everything that I crocheted during the month of May, as well as everything I crocheted for my Crochet from A to Z challenge. So I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. I'm gonna be doing I actually modified it. I modified like version of